Hey there, this is Peter and welcome to another Take a Break with Valley CAD. In today's video, we're going to be talking about weldment profiles and how we can configure them and how to use a configuration table to configure them. So go get your favorite cup of coffee or your favorite cup of tea and let's hop on over to SOLIDWORKS to learn something new about weldment profiles and configurations. See you over there. Hey there, welcome to SOLIDWORKS. So, as I was saying earlier, we're going to be coming in and making a weldment profile and also configuring it, or learning how to configure features, because that can actually work on any feature in SOLIDWORKS. It doesn't have to be just weldment profiles. Now, when you are making weldment profiles, there are two ways to do it. One of them is to configure the file. So you'll have one part file and it has all these configurations on it. The other one is making an individual file, or I should say, instead of a part file, it's actually called a library feature part. And you'll make an individual library feature part for each size of your weldment profile. With SOLIDWORKS structural systems, that's newer to SOLIDWORKS, you'll want to come in and create profiles that are configurable, because that's how the SOLIDWORKS structure system recognizes weldment profiles. So that's why it's a good practice if you're going to be coming in and making new weldment profiles, utilize configurations. So how do we come in and do this? Well, it's very simple. You just make a 2D sketch. Wow, just like that. All you have to do is come in, click on one of your primary planes, and say make a 2D sketch. Now there is a rule when you are working with SOLIDWORKS weldment profiles, is that it has to be a closed profile sketch. Has to be. Okay, so we can't do anything that's open profile. Now, as we look at this, it's good to create a procedure and you make a consistent procedure when you're making your weldment profiles. What I mean by that is, I always click on my front plane to create a weldment profile sketch. Because of that, I'm always going to click on my front plane. And it's actually just good practice to be doing your front plane. That's how I was taught, so that's why I do it that way. But if you say, well, we always use our right plane, then great, always use the right plane. But I'm just saying, be consistent on it at all times. So clicking on my front plane here, and I'm gonna make a new sketch. If you don't know how to make a new sketch in SOLIDWORKS, we do have other videos for that, but I'll show you here anyways. If you come up here and you simply click on this little icon that has a star on it, that's all you gotta do is create a new sketch. Now that this new sketch is made, and I know I'm in a sketch because my origin's red, and also in the confirmation corner. What the heck is that? It's this thing in the top right corner here. That's your confirmation corner. So what we're gonna simply do is make a simple rectangle. That's all we gotta do on this one. So to make a rectangle, you'll simply come up here into your sketch tab, and you'll come up here and it shows a rectangle. Simply click on that. And then from there, what I'm going to utilize is I'm going to do a center to corner rectangle. And what I want to do is set up construction lines, but I want to make them from midpoints. Okay. Here's a reason why, as I'm sketching this guy out for you. When you are working with weldment profiles, remember how you can come in and locate your profile based off of your path? Well, what it's utilizing are endpoints of entities, and each of these lines are considered an entity, or actual sketch points that might be on an entity. Okay, so in this scenario, I generally make all my rectangles with midpoint construction lines as compared to the diagonal or from corner style, mainly because now I have extra grab points here that I can locate this profile about my path. So that's why I do that there. So now what we need to do is come in and specify how big is this thing gonna be. So I'm going to come up here to Smart Dimension. I'll make it so that this horizontal line is going to be 4 inches. I'll make it so that the vertical line there is going to be 1 inch tall. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so now from there, I'm just going to get out my sketch. That's all I got to do. And we'll simply say that. So now that we made a sketch, and by the way, I said weldment profiles only require a 2D sketch to be made. I also mentioned that we're going to configure this. Now, you might be saying, okay, Peter, you keep talking about configurations. I have no idea what that is. Not a problem. To let you know, if you look on the left side of your screen here, this is called your Feature Manager design tree. This shows all the history of your part file or your assembly, how it's being made. And then to the right of that is your property manager. Then you got your configuration manager. And by the way, these are also your dim expert and also display manager. Just to let you know, if you're not totally sure what it is, just say manager, because you'll get about 50% of it right, because every single one of those icons ends with the term manager. So I glanced over it, but it's called configuration manager. It's in the middle here and it has the two squares that are kind of on top of each other. Clicking on that, you're gonna see that this part has a configuration called default. No matter what, whenever you create a brand new file in SOLIDWORKS, it's always gonna have a default configuration, okay? So what's the purpose of the configuration manager? Well, you can simply right click and say add configuration here if you want to. But I'm gonna show you another way of doing it. And it's a way that I like to work through SOLIDWORKS configurations, and it's called configure feature. So I'm gonna come back to my feature manager design tree, and with sketch 1 there, I'm gonna simply right click on it, and I'm gonna come down here where it says configure feature. What this is gonna do is gonna bring up a table for me. And with this table, I can actually come in and give new names to new configurations, and I can also update values in it. But wait a minute, I don't see any values here. All I see is suppressed with an empty checkbox underneath it. You're right, that is all I see as well. So if we need to come in and add dimensions here, based off of a sketch, we simply come here, click on this drop down, and by doing this, you'll see we have a D1 and a D2. So I'm going to checkbox D2 and D1 there, and just click off to the side. You'll see here that SOLIDWORKS comes in, and it shows D1, and it says it's 4, and we see a D2, which is the 1. Pretty cool, huh? Now what I'm going to do is come over here to my default, right click on it, and say rename configuration. So with configurations, I like to name it what it is. So in this scenario, I'm going to say that this is a 1x4. I know that my D1 is reversed from my D2. I totally get that, but it's not the end of the world. Okay. Now what we're going to simply do is push tab a couple times, and now I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to set up this next one to be, say, 0.75 by 4. So since I said it'd be 0.75, pushing tab now gets me underneath the D1 cell, push tab again, gets me under D2, I'm gonna make that so it's 0.75. See what I'm doing there? Now I can push tab again or come down here and click on this next cell. Oh, looks like I forgot that 4, shoot. Well, if I slow click on it, you'll notice that I can't go into edit name mode. So to let you know, when you're here, you simply right click on it and you say rename configuration. That'll bring up your new name convention mode. Say okay to that, updates the name. Not a problem. Now you simply come in here, I'll make this next one so it's a 0.5 by 4. I'm gonna push tab a couple times, make this so it's 0.5. And you know, just to speed things up a little bit here as well, I'm gonna say be a 1 by 3, push tab a couple times, this is now gonna be 3. So just coming down, you just start naming your configurations and you update your values as you see fit. So I like to make it to where I can see this table again and again in case I need to make any updates to it. Down here, you'll see it says enter name. I'm gonna give this table a name. For instance, let's call it take a break, like so. And I'm gonna come here where it has the save icon in front of a table and click save. That just made it to where this table is saved so I can reference to it again in the future. I'm gonna say apply and get okay. So I made configurations, but you'll see that my part still looks the same, right? Well, come under my configuration manager here, and you'll now see I have a 0.5 by 4, and as I double click on each one, updates the size and value of it. Pretty cool, huh? But let's say we needed to come in and update and add some more configurations. So under that new folder here that says tables, expand it out. It has take a break. Guess what? You can actually come in and make multiple different table sequences in your configuration manager there. Okay, so now as we say right click on that, I can say show table, and from here I can actually come in and make another configuration. Let's say for instance I want a 0.75 by 3. Come in here, make that so it's 3, make that so it's 0.75, like so. I'll click save again just so I'm continually saving it because it's recognizing that name. Say apply and okay. You'll see here now I have a 0.75 by 3. Pretty cool, huh? So now that we made our Weldment profile and we made configurations on it, the next step that we need to do is we need to save this out as a library feature part. So before we come up here and go, oh, you said save as? Oh, sweet, I come up here to save and I'll do save as, right? Calm down, Turbo. What you actually have to do is this. You have to select the sketch first. Okay, so select sketch 1. Now come up here to File, click Save As. And from here, what we want to do is we want to actually copy the folder location I'm currently in. So what I'm getting at is you want to make sure you're going to the folder location that you want this to be saved to. So let's imagine I wanted to save it here to the Take a Break, Weldment Profiles, Config folder. And I'll do a Control-C on that to copy it. Here's the reason why. As I come down here to my Save As Type, if I click on this drop down, you'll see that SOLIDWORKS saves out to many different file types. And where the heck is library feature part at? Well, it's about 3/4 of the way down, and it's library feature part, SLD LFP. Simply click on that. Look what SOLIDWORKS does here. It transfers you to the default SOLIDWORKS design library folder, because your design library is where all your library feature parts are. Pretty convenient. In this scenario, whenever you're making custom items, I recommend that you put them in a designated folder that's outside of the default SOLIDWORKS location. So since I copied that original location, I'm gonna say go back to there. I'm gonna change this name to, let's just call it rectangle bar, like so, and do SLD LFP. Sweet. Now I'm gonna simply click save. And now I made a library feature part, a SOLIDWORKS library feature part. How do I know I did this the right way? If I look on the left side of my screen here under my design tree, you'll see it has a sketch icon and it has a letter L on top of it. This is SOLIDWORKS' way of saying, hey, this is now a library feature part. Also, if you scroll to the top of your design tree, your icon changed and it looks like a series of books as if you're looking at it from the top view. So this is a way of SOLIDWORKS telling you, you have made a library feature part. Pretty cool, huh? So also, as I stated, in this video, we are not going to show how to set up your folder locations for SOLIDWORKS to look to that. If you do want to learn more about that, you can definitely give us a call. It's 559-726-2276, or hop on over to the Valley CAD website, and on there, the contact us form. Just go on there, say, hey, contact, how the heck do I make my folder locations for library feature parts or for Weldment profiles? We'll be happy to help out with that. Okay, so and also another thing, make sure you click subscribe, and you also give us a thumbs up on this video and our other videos, because we are promoting these videos quite often. So once again, my name is Peter Estes. Thank you for taking a break with Valley CAD. Have a great rest of the day and make sure you learn something new.